Welcome to Edithville, our turn-of-the-century miners' cottage in Bendigo, Victoria. Join myself, Dan, and my partner Branden as we transform our little house into a home. Renovating, decorating, gardening, and creating. Building our life in rural Australia. Not to forget our miniature poodle, Sprocket. Come along with us as we document the changes and experience the journey in our beautiful home, Edithville. This is our front room, which was a bedroom. But as I have said in our previous vlog, we're making this into our office space, and I'm going to put the working area over here, I suppose, because there's PowerPoint just down there. So going to put my work desk here and also another table here so that we can fit the printer up there, and then you kind of sit here, but you have a little bit of a view of the garden, which will be really nice. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, which is great. Today's probably not the best example of how the days are going, because we have a little bit of wind happening, but we always get the wind up here. So yes, this room is kind of being used as a little bit of storage, but it'll be good because we'll have it all sorted, which is a bit of my task today, to try and get it sorted a little bit, and possibly start thinking about moving the desk into here. It would be nice, although it's a little bit cold. Next week is supposed to be warm, and I'll be working from home next week as well, so we'll see how we go there. I might just need to rug up with a blanket or something. But I can now start to unpack my Astro Boy collection. Ta-da! So I spent some time in China and I collected quite a little bit of Astro Boy, and I need to unwrap these ones and then I can put those up as well. So I have quite a few collections going on. But yes, watch this space. We'll have more of an update once we kind of have it put all together. Clearly we need to get rid of that old mattress and tidy, which kind of seems to be the theme with everything at the moment, but never mind, it'll all be good. To show you guys one of the finds that we got at the tip shop was these bedside tables. So this is what they originally looked like. Nice handles, good shape, for a bedside table. You can't really kind of ask for too much. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've just given it a quick coat of paint, and just pull these out a little bit because they sit too far in at the moment. But yeah, here we are. Just a repaint to try and fit in with the bed a little bit more. They'll need a little bit more work done to them, but I'm thinking that we could probably put something on top, like either a tile, a slate tile or something, depending on what colour we paint this room, which we're thinking it might be like a baby blue kind of colour, or like a almost like a Tiffany blue, maybe, not so bright. Anyway, we're going to paint it, but it's going to be blue. It was originally going to be green, but we're thinking that blue would probably suit these lamps better than anything else. So I'm thinking either slate, or I might get a marble top made for the tops of these, and we'll see how that turns out. This is the result so far of the office space. Which, as I said before, has a great view out on the front garden. And now that we're getting into warmer weather, this will actually be nice and cool to work in, which will be great. And I also have some seeds to show you. Growing a few things, planting some seeds, and you know, for pretty much the first time in my life, I'm actually growing things from seed. And we had these containers, which we have been using as kind of little hothouses, essentially. And I have some seeds growing, which is excellent. So things are all starting to pop up, which is great. And very excited about this tub, because this tub, not only does it contain some tomatoes, which one of the tomatoes is starting to come up, but it also contains the sunflower, and the sunflower seeds have gone spastic, as well as the sugar bun peas, which is great because we want to plant those out into those other plantings that we've got, the tubs that we've got. And slowly but surely, if you can see them, they're teeny tiny, but that's the lawn time. So that should give a beautiful little covering. Plantings. I got this greenhouse from Aldi, which they have had on sale, which is kind of perfect because we don't really need a lot. You know, I'm really kind of starting this process before we go crazy with something else. But in here I have the wisteria growing, and I've also planted some of the basil, sweet basil. So that's in there. These have just been planted today. The wisteria was interesting because you have to soak it for a period of time, and then you have to put it in the fridge for 2 weeks, and then you plant it. So I've got 5 plants in there, and I'm hoping that that they take off, because they're a Japanese wisteria, so they're like a true wisteria apparently. So we'll see how our little greenhouse goes, but so far so good. We've actually got some plants growing, and we should have a pretty interesting garden by the time everything gets planted out. So a few reinforcing structures being put in place, so now we don't get any wobble at all, which is fantastic. Makes it a little bit stronger around these join areas as well. So that's the back side. I haven't put anything at the front here because I don't think it needs it. A little bit of overkill, but I've put one down here so we can still get buckets and stuff out, which will be good to see how our seedlings are going, because the beans and the sunflowers really have taken off. And the other day we checked, and none of the tomatoes had kind of done anything. So I think that was maybe like 2 days ago. But now, look at that. We now have our pineapple tomatoes coming up, a yellow pear tomatoes coming up. The tomato has started to come up. The Bernie Shaw crop tomato has started to come up, as well as some of the Black Russian. And then, of course, look at the sunflowers. They are just going nuts. Not all the seeds have come up, but that's okay. I've got more seeds to plant. And then I think this week this weekend, we're going to take out the peas and maybe start planting those into the beds. But they're all looking amazing. Everything's coming up so quickly. It's great. Let's check this one out, because I haven't had a look yet in this one to see what it's doing. Woohoo! Look at that. We rotated it around a little bit. So Queen Anne's lace has actually started to get some leaves. Black hollyhock starting to come up a little bit, which is good. The Nigella has really come up, and I might need to pull that out at some stage. And then these are the Scabiosa, which are a mixed colour. And finally, the Aquilegia is starting to come up. So we can see a little bit of that, but that's taken a long time. I think that's like an 8-week germination or something like that. Some of them are like that. But slowly and surely things are starting to happen in our garden, which is going to be so exciting. It's 5:45 on Saturday morning. I don't know why I'm up. But I realized that I was going to have to do something today, so I'm going to make blueberry muffins, I think. Although we do have lots of banana. Okay, so I've decided what I'm going to make, and I'm going to make a banana cake again, because that's basically what I do at this point. But I have bicarb soda, natural walnuts, cinnamon and nutmeg, coconut flour. I'm going to try coconut flour today. Don't know how it's going to turn out. Brown sugar, butter, 2 eggs, 3 bananas, and some blueberries. All right, let's see how it goes. What are you doing? Okay, so I've been busy, but I wanted to show you outside because it's quite pretty. I couldn't help myself. Hey baby, what's going on? The exciting part.
That is the extent of the morning dew. It's when everything's nice and supple.
Yes. And everything gets really wet. You can pull all the weeds out quite easily. A little bit of weeding. And today we're going to put the flashing onto the studio roof. You can see everything is starting to come back. We're getting some amazing flowers. Can't wait for these to come out and see what they look like. These were given to us by a friend of ours. She pulled them all out, and so we planted them a little while ago. My first line of business today is to get the flashing onto the studio. how they used to connect the electricity to the studio was this hook up here. There was a cord, a cable that ran along to the house, and then that ran underneath the house to a power point, which is actually on that veranda. So clearly they only had one extension cord, and all the power for the studio was running off that, which isn't ideal, and for what I needed wasn't going to work. So we ended up getting the electricity connected to the studio and getting a mini power board put into there and all that kind of stuff. I had to dig a massive trench from there all the way down to the studio. That was a bit of a drama, and it took a lot longer than what I was anticipating, but we got that done. We now have power and lights and everything, and it's all dedicated to the studio, but the roof has no flashing, so you know, to stop things from kind of accessing the inside of the studio, I need to put the flashing on, and I ordered and got the flashing about 2 weeks ago, so now today is the install day, and we're going to do that and seal it all up so we don't get any water into the studio whatsoever, and then we can start to do the insulation. So I've managed to push that board, the barge board, back in and screw that back into place, so it's nice and tight there now and not sticking out. And we've started to paint a little bit of a primer, because this trim's actually going to go white before we put on the flashing. So this will be the first step, but I'm due to take this down, which is our basketball hoop, because clearly, you know, we play basketball, not. So that's coming down, and then I can continue to go all the way down this side and paint all of that as well, and then we're ready for the flashing.
Okay, here goes my last chance as an NBA All-Star.
Look at the length of these fucking screws.
I know.
Jesus.
Well, if you're gonna slam dunk something, you want to be able to do it right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you can hang off that.
Ta-da! Our priming coat has been put on where all the red is at the moment. Well, you know, the Indian red has been. So now I am ready. Once that fully dries, I'll be ready to install the flashing. So I'm going to get that down and get that ready, and get ladders into position and get Branden to help me.
What are you doing?
Installing the flashing all the way up here. The person who hates heights is all the way up here.
Well, you're not alone.
Thank God.
That already looks so much better.
I know, doesn't it? And it'll prevent water.
Which is the point.
That's the point. Good. I cling to the edge.
As we cling to the edge. And so I'm working on this at the moment. So painting everything white and then restaining. So it'll all match with the rest of it.
We now have the flashing in place for the front, which is awesome. I just need to get a little bit of silicone for up the top there and silicone that up so water doesn't get trapped behind. And we were going to do the back today as well, but we have a wee bit of a problem, given the fact that the not cherry blossoms, but our cherry plums are flowering like there is no tomorrow. And I think you would be able to hear this. And see them. That buzzing of all the bees, which this is absolutely fantastic because I love the fact that the bees are hanging around. The only problem is I'm allergic to bees, and I need to get up into all of that, where all the bees are. So, guess what's not happening today? I'm not going to risk it, and we're not going to get up there and try and deal with that. You can see them all. They're like buzzing around big time. So we're going to have to wait until this finishes doing its flowering so that I can get up there, chop back some of that, and then also be able to, you know, fix some things that need to be fixed and put up the flashing. So that'll just have to wait for a while. Hey!
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So we've just sanded and now we're painting the steps, the first coat. And we're going to stain the hardboards, the treads.
Just so everything matches across.
It's a busy day today.
Very busy day today. Considering I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning and baked as well.
You have, yes.
I think there'll be an afternoon nap or an early night.
Yes. How's it going?
Yeah, good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. It's come up a treat.
And then we got the boards for up under the eaves of the studio, and we're going to paint some red onto the studio and see what it looks like, which will be great. But we've got one more coat of green to paint on the stairs, and I think the stairs are then done. We got some new plants that we've decided to plant around here. You know, make a little bit of an oasis, just with a little pop of colour. So that should be quite nice. And we've put some down in through this garden bed here before the citrus as well. And I was hoping to have a fire tonight, but as you can see, the wind is a bit crazy, and so that's not going to happen. Not today. But we have our pile of stuff there to burn. Be plenty of opportunity soon enough, no doubt. So that's been our weekend.
I know you're not awake.
Is this a revenge
But-
thing?
So we just woke up from a nap and look what
Yes.
we found. So our neighbor made us fresh pesto and a really lovely bread, and then also brought us flowers. Right there. Beautiful.
On that, though, the pesto is made from our parsley, because I made her parsley pesto months ago. And she was like, oh, that was so good. And she made us a focaccia and she put it on our front deck. And we were like, who made us this bread? And we ate it anyway, not knowing who the hell it was. And then, because I haven't made the parsley pesto for a while, she was like, oh, you know, she was over yesterday because she'd bought this to us, which is a beautiful sourdough that she'd made. Oh my god, it's so good.
We've been munching on that all day.
Yeah, we've been eating that ever since she gave it to us. It was huge. But yeah, so she's made us a parsley pesto based on my recipe because she was sick of waiting for me.
But she's absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
And we're really lucky to have neighbors like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.